Imagine standing in a quiet summer field as the sun sinks away. The air cools, the sky deepens, and then, suddenly, tiny sparks rise from the grass, drifting and flickering like stars that have chosen to live closer to us. Each glow feels like a secret, as if the night itself is whispering softly in pulses of golden light. This is the magic of fireflies, creatures so small, yet they carry lanterns bright enough to stir wonder in the deepest parts of us. Their glow has inspired poets, dreamers, and children chasing through twilight with jars in their hands. But behind this delicate beauty lies a story of science, of chemistry, evolution, and survival, that is every bit as wondrous as the sight itself. Tonight, on the thoughtful night, we will drift gently into the mystery of why fireflies glow. We will wander through meadows, slip into molecules, and float on centuries of folklore. Across cultures, these glowing beetles have been more than insects. They have been symbols, messengers, even spirits. In Japan, they are called hataru, and their light has been cherished for centuries. Ancient poets wrote of fireflies as fleeting souls, their glow likened to the impermanence of love and life. In the quiet of summer nights, Japanese families would gather near rivers to watch them, seeing in their flickers the delicate balance between presence and absence, a brief brightness that soon fades. Even today, hatarugari, the tradition of watching fireflies, continues as a ritual of reflection and wonder. Far across the world, in Native American stories, fireflies take on another shape. Among the Apache, they are said to have gifted light to humanity, teaching people to make fire by watching their glow. For the Cherokee, they were teachers of patience, flashing their lanterns only when the time was right. These tales, whispered across generations, show how deeply humans have always listened to the language of light in the dark. Fireflies are not just creatures of biology. They are woven into the mythologies that shaped how we see the night. And then there are the memories closer to home, simple yet profound. Children running barefoot through backyards in midsummer, cupping their hands around a glow, holding the night for just a moment before letting it drift free again. Mason jars filled with tiny flickers, sitting on porches like borrowed galaxies. For so many, the first encounter with fireflies is not scientific but magical. They are the first reminder that nature can surprise us in ways that feel almost supernatural. Poets have always been drawn to them. In haiku, fireflies are compared to sparks of love, to vanished dreams, to stars falling silently from the heavens. In English verse, they become metaphors for fleeting beauty, for hope in darkness. A single glowing insect, it seems, can hold the weight of both science and spirit. Its light is a bridge between knowledge and mystery, something we feel in our bones even before we understand it with our minds. Standing in a firefly meadow is to be reminded of rhythm. Their lights are not constant but pulsed, like the beating of a heart, like the rise and fall of breath. Whole fields can fall into synchronized patterns, waves of light washing across grasslands, as if the insects share a secret orchestra conductor. The effect is hypnotic, pulling you into the tempo of the night until your own body seems to settle into harmony with theirs. It is easy to imagine that fireflies glow simply to enchant us, to fill summer evenings with wonder. Yet, as beautiful as their dance may be, it is not meant for human eyes alone. Their light is communication, a language evolved through millions of years, each blink purposeful and precise. What we see as decoration is, for them, survival, signals of attraction, of warning, of identity. Still, before we step into the science, it is worth lingering here, in the cultural and emotional glow that surrounds them. These beetles, fragile as they are, carry more than just their own light. They carry centuries of human reflection, songs, and myths. They carry the laughter of children and the reverence of poets. They carry the hush of a summer night when time seems to slow, and all that exists is grass, sky, and gentle lanterns moving in silence. And as the meadow deepens into night, the glow continues, faint pulses scattered like gems across the earth, reminding us that mystery often begins close to home. Wonder does not require telescopes or laboratories. Sometimes it is carried on small wings, hovering just above the grass, offering its brightness to anyone willing to pause and watch. But the story of their light is not only cultural. It begins deep in their bodies, with a molecule waiting to shine. If you were to gently lift the lantern of a firefly and peer inside with the eyes of a scientist, you would find not a flame, but a quiet dance of molecules. Unlike a candle or a spark struck from stone, the firefly's glow is born without heat, as if light has been disentangled from fire itself. This miracle is called bioluminescence, life-creating light. Inside the abdomen of the firefly lies a small chamber, almost like a secret laboratory. Here, specialized cells called photocytes hold the ingredients for a glow. The most important of these is a molecule with a name that sounds almost magical: luciferin. In Latin, Lucifer means light-bearer, and luciferin truly is the bearer of firefly light. But luciferin does not work alone. It requires a helper, an enzyme called luciferase, whose very job is to guide the reaction that makes the glow possible. Together, these two form the heart of the firefly's lantern. The process begins simply. Oxygen drifts into the lantern chamber. Normally, oxygen fuels fire, yet here it fuels something gentler. Luciferase takes hold of luciferin and oxygen, bringing them close together like hands guiding a dance. The reaction is delicate, but the result is astonishing. The release of a photon, a particle of light. To put it plainly, oxygen meeting luciferin is like a breath meeting a spark. Each encounter gives birth to light, pure and cool. Unlike most forms of combustion, the firefly's glow produces almost no heat. Scientists call this cold light. It is extraordinarily efficient. Nearly 90% of the energy is converted directly into light. By comparison, a traditional incandescent bulb only manages about 10%, the rest wasted as heat. In a way, fireflies are not just charming. They are engineers of efficiency, carrying in their tiny bodies a mastery of light that human technology has only imperfectly imitated. To imagine this reaction more deeply, picture a symphony played not with violins or flutes, but with atoms. Luciferin provides the melody, luciferase the rhythm. Oxygen drifts in as the wind section, and when they play together, the notes emerge not as sound but as light itself. Every flash of a firefly is a performance of this molecular orchestra, invisible to our eyes until it bursts into glow. But how does a firefly control this music? After all, their flashes are not random. They are timed, patterned, meaningful. The answer lies in the way they regulate oxygen. Tiny air tubes, called tracheoles, carry oxygen into the lantern cells. By opening and closing valves in these tubes, fireflies can let oxygen in or hold it back, effectively switching the glow on or off. It is like a living dimmer switch, controlled not by wires and circuits but by breath itself. Each flash you see in the night is the result of a firefly consciously opening those tiny gates, allowing oxygen to rush in, and then closing them to let the light fade away. And so, the meadow's glowing rhythm is not only a spectacle of nature. It is a language crafted through chemistry and control. One species may flash in short bursts, another in long glows, another in carefully timed intervals. Behind each of these patterns lies the same molecular truth: luciferin, luciferase, oxygen, and the gift of light. Scientists have studied this reaction with fascination, not only to understand fireflies but to borrow their brilliance. The luciferase enzyme, for example, has become a tool in modern biology. Researchers use it as a natural marker, inserting the luciferase gene into other cells. When those cells glow, it reveals that a certain process has occurred. Perhaps a gene has been activated, or a tumor is growing, or a medicine is working. In laboratories around the world, tiny sparks of firefly light are helping humans understand life itself. The same glow that once enchanted poets now illuminates the hidden world of DNA and disease. Still, in the quiet of a summer field, none of this complexity is visible. You do not see luciferin or luciferase, or the valves that govern oxygen. You simply see the glow, effortless, unhurried. The science is there, intricate and exact, but it never diminishes the wonder. Instead, it deepens it. To know that such a tiny creature carries within its body the power to turn molecules into light is to feel awe not just at beauty, but at the precision of life. If you close your eyes and imagine this reaction on a cosmic scale, it feels almost like the universe itself whispering through chemistry. Stars shine through nuclear fusion, releasing energy across light years. Fireflies shine through luciferin, releasing light across inches of grass. The scale is different, but the essence is the same. Matter turned into radiance, darkness given a spark. What makes this all the more remarkable is how gentle it is. The firefly's lantern glows without flame, without smoke, without the harshness of fire. It is light as it might exist in a dream, pure, soft, pulsing, a reminder that illumination need not burn. It is as though evolution, in shaping the firefly, found a way to let night carry its own quiet stars. And so, when you watch a firefly rise into the dusk, blinking its way across the meadow, remember the hidden chemistry at play. Remember that each flash is born of luciferin and luciferase, of oxygen slipping silently into cells, of photons released like notes in a melody. It is not magic, and yet it feels like magic because science, at its most intimate, often does. This light is no accident. It is a message written in the language of evolution. Long before the first human ever paused to wonder at a flicker in the night, fireflies had already been shining for millions of years. Their light is not new, it is ancient, carved by time and tested by survival. To understand why fireflies glow, we must travel back through evolutionary history, to the moments when glowing was not yet a love song, but a warning in the dark. The earliest ancestors of fireflies lived not in meadows under starlight, but beneath the soil. These larvae, soft-bodied and vulnerable, needed protection from the many creatures that hunted in the damp underground world. Some carried within them a bitter-tasting chemistry, a natural toxin discouraging predators from eating them. But the underground is dark, and danger moves silently. What use is a bitter taste if the predator has already taken a bite? And so, evolution carved a signal. The larvae began to glow faintly, their light saying, "I am not good to eat. Leave me be." In this way, bioluminescence first emerged not as beauty, not as courtship, but as survival. A glow became a warning, like the bright colors of a poisonous frog, but shimmering in the night. This aposematic signal, as scientists call it, allowed the glowing insects to survive longer, and therefore to pass on their light-bearing genes. Slowly, across countless generations, this ability spread and deepened, until glowing was no longer rare but essential. Imagine that buried soil world millions of years ago, tiny larvae glowing like embers in the dark earth, their faint lanterns warding off would-be predators. For them, light was not decoration, it was a shield. It is humbling to think that the very glow that we now chase with joy in summer fields began as an act of defense, an instinct to survive. But evolution is never still. Once a trait emerges, it can be shaped into new purposes. Light, so effective at warning, could also become a signal of another kind. Over time, as adult fireflies appeared, they carried with them the ability to glow. In the open air, with predators still present but with mates to be found, the glow became more than a warning. It became a message of attraction. From defense, the light transformed into communication, into a language of love. Yet even before mating displays evolved, the firefly's glow served another purpose: coordination. Groups of larvae, glowing together, created a stronger message than one glow alone. A predator might ignore a single flicker, but a chorus of lights was harder to miss. In this way, collective glowing became more common. What began as survival slowly turned into spectacle, and the stage was set for fireflies to become the masters of light signals that we see today. Predators, of course, did not simply retreat forever. Some adapted, learning to ignore the glow, or to eat despite the bitter taste. This constant push and pull, the glow-warning predators adjusting, formed what biologists call an evolutionary arms race. The glow had to stay effective, and so it became brighter, more rhythmic, more reliable. Those that glowed clearly survived. Those that did not faded away. Through this arms race, fireflies refined their light until it was more than a simple warning. It was precise, efficient, and versatile. The chemistry we explored in the last chapter, the luciferin, the luciferase, the careful breath of oxygen, was shaped not in laboratories but through this endless dialogue between prey and predator, chance and necessity. Each glow you see in a meadow today carries within it the record of millions of such struggles, each flash a fossil of survival encoded in light. In this sense, fireflies are storytellers of evolution. They remind us that traits do not simply appear. They are tested, refined, repurposed. A glow that once said stay away slowly grew into a glow that could also say come closer. Nature does not waste, it reshapes. The light that guarded larvae became the poetry of adults, the luminous courtship dances of warm summer nights. Think of how remarkable this is. A molecule evolved to warn predators now draws mates across the darkness. An adaptation for survival became an instrument of beauty. Evolution often works this way, turning tools of necessity into languages of intimacy. In the case of fireflies, the result is one of the most enchanting sights in all of nature. Lanterns rising in the dusk, carrying both history and hope. There is another layer still. Evolution not only gave fireflies light, but gave them the ability to shape it into patterns. Each species flashes differently, creating unique signatures that prevent confusion. Some blink rapidly, others slowly, some in pairs, some in long glows. These signatures emerged because those who signaled clearly found mates, and those who did not vanished into silence. Over time, whole symphonies of patterns arose, each species composing its own rhythm of survival and love. And so, the meadow at night is not simply random glowing. It is the living record of evolutionary creativity. Every flash is a voice, honed by time, saying, I am here, I am safe, I am ready to continue the story. Without evolution, there would be no fireflies, no chemistry of luciferin, no memories of children chasing jars of light. Without the long, slow shaping of natural selection, the night would be darker, and our summers emptier. When we look at fireflies, we are not just seeing insects. We are seeing the long hand of time at work, sculpting molecules and behaviors into a language of light. Their glow is not accidental. It is the result of ancient battles, tiny victories, and the persistence of life itself. And perhaps that is why fireflies resonate with us so deeply. We, too, are creatures shaped by evolution, carrying within us traits born of survival, later repurposed into art, song, love, and meaning. The firefly's glow is not so different from our own creativity. Both are reminders that from struggle, beauty can emerge. From the soil to the stars, from larvae warning predators to adults courting mates, the firefly's journey has always been lit by evolution's lantern. Their glow carries both the memory of danger and the promise of love. It is a testament to the way life adapts, transforms, and finds light in the darkness. From defense, their light grew into something more intimate, an invitation. When twilight deepens and the meadow softens into shadow, the glow of the firefly takes on a new meaning. No longer just a warning to predators, no longer just the echo of evolution's battles, the light becomes something tender, a love letter written in pulses of gold. For the firefly, the night sky is not only a backdrop of stars but a ballroom, where lanterns rise and fall in patterns that guide lovers to one another. Each species of firefly carries its own code. Some males fly low over the grass, flashing short, sharp bursts of light every few seconds. Others drift higher, letting their glow linger before it fades. Still others trace long arcs through the air, their lanterns pulsing like slow breaths. To human eyes, these patterns may seem random, but to fireflies, they are as distinct as a signature. Each flash is a phrase, a call, an introduction. And waiting in the grass are the females. They watch patiently, their lanterns dim until the right moment arrives. When a male sends the signal she recognizes, she responds, not immediately but with a perfectly timed reply. The delay is not hesitation but precision, a rhythm she has carried for millions of years. To the male, her response is unmistakable. He veers toward her, drawn by the light of recognition, the glow that says, I see you. Come closer. This back and forth is more than courtship. It is communication in its purest form. No songs, no scents, no dances, only light. Imagine standing at the edge of the meadow and watching the dialogue unfold. A male sending his signal, a female replying, the two converging through the warm summer night. It is a language spoken in silence, a conversation that fills the air with flickers instead of words. For us, it is easy to romanticize. The meadow becomes a stage for silent poetry, where every spark is a verse in an ancient love song. In truth, the signals are pragmatic, refined by evolution to ensure that mates find one another efficiently. Yet even in their practicality, they carry a beauty that is undeniable. It is as though survival itself has been woven into art, as though necessity has blossomed into elegance. Sometimes, entire fields will fall into synchronization. Dozens, even hundreds of males flash together, their signals aligning until the meadow glows in unison, a living constellation on the ground. To stand among them is to feel as though the earth itself has learned the rhythm of the stars. Scientists call this synchronous flashing, and though its purpose is still debated, it may help females compare signals, or it may simply emerge from the mathematics of rhythm itself. Whatever its reason, the sight is unforgettable. A chorus of lanterns, beating as one. To imagine what it feels like for the fireflies themselves is to step into another world. The males, flying tirelessly, pour their energy into each glow, each signal a hopeful invitation. The females, watching quietly, hold the power of choice. Their replies are selective, measured, deliberate. In their dialogue, whole generations are decided, the story of fireflies carried forward by a dance of light in the dark. There is something profoundly moving in this. Humans, too, send signals in search of one another. Words, gestures, songs, gifts. Our languages are many, but the longing behind them is the same. To be seen, to be chosen, to connect. The firefly's lantern is a mirror of our own hearts, showing that love, in all its forms, is a kind of glow in the dark. In literature, firefly courtship has often been painted as romance. Japanese poets likened the flashing of males to warriors carrying torches, while females were imagined as waiting maidens. In the West, fireflies became symbols of longing, their brief lights compared to fleeting chances for connection. Even in children's games, catching fireflies in jars is often less about possession than about holding for a moment the mystery of love's signal, before setting it free again. Science and poetry meet here in perfect balance. The male's flash is, at its core, a biochemical signal, luciferin and luciferase producing light in precise bursts. The female's reply is timed through tiny neural circuits that measure delay. Yet when we watch from the outside, we see not chemicals and neurons but courtship, romance, tenderness. It is a reminder that biology and beauty are not opposites, they are partners. What we call love in fireflies is, in truth, the shimmering edge where survival and wonder meet. There are also risks. To flash brightly in the night is to draw attention, not only from potential mates but from predators. Some bats, for example, can detect fireflies by their glow. Yet the fireflies continue to signal, for the need to find a mate outweighs the danger. In this way, their light is both a gift and a gamble, an act of vulnerability that carries the weight of their species' future. If you close your eyes and imagine a meadow full of fireflies, you can feel the layers at play. 1,000 tiny bodies, each with its own chemistry, each driven by instincts honed over millennia, together create a tapestry of light that humans read as beauty. Yet beneath that beauty is strategy, adaptation, communication. The fireflies glow not for us, but for each other. And still, we are allowed to watch, to witness, to be moved. Perhaps that is why summer nights with fireflies linger in memory. They show us that love can be silent, that connection can be wordless, that beauty can be born of need. The firefly's meadow is a silent ballroom, where light replaces music and every flicker is a step in the dance. It is at once pragmatic and poetic, survival and seduction, necessity and wonder. But even in beauty, there are tricks in the dark. Not all lights in the meadow are what they seem. What begins as a love song can, at times, become a lure, a trick, a silent trap hidden in the darkness. Fireflies, for all their beauty, are also participants in an intricate game of deception, where signals meant for love can be stolen and reshaped into invitations of death. Among the many species of fireflies, there are some whose females have learned the art of mimicry. These femme fatale fireflies wait patiently in the grass, their lanterns dark until the moment comes. A male, flying overhead, sends out his hopeful code. 2 short flashes, a pause, then another. In another time, another place, a female of his species would have answered, and love would have begun. But here, the mimic responds with that same rhythm, perfectly timed, perfectly shaped. The male believes he has found his partner. He descends eagerly, wings whispering through the night air, his glow answering hers. Yet as he nears, her lantern does not promise love. It promises danger. For when he lands, instead of courtship, there is ambush. The mimic consumes him, his light extinguished almost as soon as it brightened. This dance of deception is as old as the fireflies themselves. Scientists call it aggressive mimicry, a strategy found in many corners of nature. Anglerfish in the deep sea use glowing lures to draw prey toward jaws waiting in darkness. Orchids mimic the scent of female bees, tricking males into pollinating them. And here, on warm summer nights, firefly females mimic the very signals of love to catch their meals. To us, it may seem cruel, even heartbreaking. The hopeful male, deceived by a light meant to unite him with a mate, finds only death instead. But in nature, cruelty is not the right word. The mimic female, too, must survive, must find energy to live, and sometimes even to produce her own offspring. Her deception is not malice, it is necessity shaped into strategy. In the grand web of life, her trick ensures that she, too, continues the story of her kind. Yet the effect on the meadow is unmistakable. Every flash, every reply, carries both promise and peril. For the males, the night is filled with choices, whose signal is genuine, whose signal hides a predator's hunger. The meadow becomes not only a ballroom but a battlefield of trust and doubt, where each glow may carry the warmth of love or the shadow of danger. This duality of light, both an invitation and a trap, deepens the mystery of fireflies. It reminds us that beauty in nature is often layered, carrying with it not only tenderness but tension. The same lantern that once guided lovers together can also guide them into the jaws of death. In the firefly's world, love and deception are interwoven, inseparable strands of survival. To watch this unfold is to glimpse the complexity of life itself. Imagine a warm evening where fireflies pulse across the grass. Some flashes are genuine, guiding pairs toward one another. Others are clever imitations, each one a question mark in the dark. To us, the meadow glows with enchantment. To the fireflies, it is a place of both romance and risk. Humans, too, have always sensed this shadow in the glow. In folklore, fireflies are sometimes cast not only as symbols of love but as tricksters. In some Native American tales, they are mischievous spirits, their lights teasing travelers in the dark. In Japanese legends, fireflies could embody the souls of warriors, carrying both devotion and deception. The light that enchants can also mislead, and perhaps we recognize in them a reflection of our own stories, where beauty can carry hidden motives. The balance between attraction and danger is delicate. A male must risk pursuit to find a mate. Without courage, there is no future for his kind. Yet with each risk comes the chance of deception, of being consumed instead of embraced. This tension has shaped firefly behavior over millennia, driving evolution to refine signals, to sharpen instincts, to make each flash more precise. The very presence of mimicry forces the genuine to shine more clearly, to become more recognizable in the flood of imitation. And still, deception remains. In the quiet of the night, beneath the chorus of lanterns, some lights will always be false. The meadow does not offer guarantees, only chances. Love and loss are woven together, inseparable threads glowing for a moment before fading into shadow. There is a meditation here, one that reaches beyond insects and into the fabric of life. Light is not always pure. It can guide or mislead, reveal or conceal, nurture or destroy. And yet, without light, There would be no signals, no communication, no chance for love at all. Perhaps it is this paradox that makes the fireflies' glow so poignant, that even beauty can carry danger, and even deception depends on wonder to succeed. As you watch the meadow and see the fireflies rising and falling, consider that every glow you see could hold more than one meaning. Some are lanterns of love, guiding partners together. Some are masks hiding hunger behind radiance. Yet all are part of the same great conversation, the same ecological web. The predator and the lover, the deceiver and the deceived, all play their roles in the balance of night. The lesson is not despair, but humility. Nature, in all its intricacy, does not divide neatly into good and bad, love and trickery, beauty and cruelty. It is all of these things at once, woven into patterns as complex as the signals of the fireflies. To sit in their presence is to witness not only their glow but the truths hidden beneath it, that survival is rarely simple, that beauty often carries shadows, that even in the gentlest lights, there may be secrets. And still they shine. Even with deception in the dark, even with risk threaded through every signal, the fireflies continue to glow. Their lanterns flicker and fade, rise and fall, weaving the night into a tapestry of trust and trickery alike. To us, it remains a wonder. To them, it is survival. Yet still, the fireflies shine, each glow part of a greater ecological web. The glow of fireflies may seem like a private dance, a quiet code exchanged between wings and lanterns, but the truth is wider. Their light belongs not only to their species, not only to their search for love or their defense from predators. It belongs to the entire web of life. Each pulse of bioluminescence threads them into an ecosystem, binding them to soil, water, plants, and countless other creatures. Beneath the summer meadow where adults drift and shine, firefly eggs rest in the soil. Tiny pearls scattered in the damp earth, they are barely visible to the human eye. Yet even there the story of glow continues. Some larvae, as they hatch, emit faint glimmers of light, lanterns at the very beginning of life. This early glow is not meant for love but for warning. It says to predators, "I am not worth eating." Many firefly species contain chemicals that make them bitter or even toxic, and their light advertises this truth before danger draws near. As larvae, fireflies are not the gentle, drifting spirits we see in summer skies. They are hunters, moving silently through soil and leaf litter, seeking out earthworms, snails, and slugs. When they find their prey, they inject digestive enzymes that paralyze and liquefy, allowing the larva to consume its meal. It may sound harsh, but in doing so, the larvae help regulate populations of creatures that, left unchecked, could overwhelm gardens and fields. In this way, the glow of young fireflies serves as a reminder. Even beauty carries teeth, and even predators carry light. The adults, too, play their roles in the food web. While some feed on nectar and pollen, many eat little at all, their adult lives brief and focused mainly on reproduction. And yet, they themselves are food. Birds, bats, spiders, and frogs all hunt fireflies. Some predators learn to avoid the glowing ones, tasting bitterness after a single unlucky meal. Others become specialists, immune to their toxins, turning firefly lanterns into signposts for supper. The meadow is an exchange of risks, signals, and hungers, and the glow of fireflies threads through all of it. Imagine, for a moment, a heron standing at the edge of a marsh. Insects rise around it as twilight deepens. Among them are fireflies, their signals drifting softly above the reeds. The heron does not understand the codes of courtship or deception, but it sees movement, flashes, wings. A single snap of its beak, and one glow disappears into silence. That moment is part of a cycle as ancient as the glow itself. Light becoming life for another creature, just as countless meals sustain the fireflies in turn. Beyond their direct roles as prey and predator, fireflies connect deeply with their environments. They thrive in wetlands, in damp meadows, along forest edges, places where water and soil nourish life in abundance. Their presence can be a sign of ecological health. Where wetlands are drained, where pesticides saturate the earth, fireflies begin to vanish. Where the night sky grows too bright with artificial light, their signals are drowned in a haze of human brightness, leaving them unable to find one another. To watch fireflies is not only to marvel at beauty but to measure the health of the land itself. Their glow is, in this sense, a fragile thread that stretches outward into our world. When fireflies thrive, so do the wetlands, the soil, the hidden networks of life beneath our feet. When they vanish, it is not only their lanterns we lose but the balance of ecosystems they belong to. Their light is not just for themselves. It is part of a chorus of survival, where every pulse reminds us that no species shines alone. Think again of their life cycle, from egg to larva to pupa to adult. At each stage, the glow is there. First a whisper, then a warning, then a song of love, and finally a fading lantern at the end of life. Few insects carry their signature so clearly through every stage. The firefly's glow is not only an adornment but an identity, present from the soil to the sky, woven into every moment of their being. This continuity connects them to the rhythm of the earth itself, a rhythm that echoes in the rise and fall of their brief lives. For humans, too, fireflies are teachers. Their glow shows us how survival can be written in light, how communication can emerge from chemistry, how ecosystems are held together by threads both visible and invisible. They remind us that no act of shining is solitary. Every flash reverberates outward, touching predators, prey, soil, and sky. Perhaps this is why their presence feels so sacred. To sit among them is to sit among a living system that hums quietly in balance. Each glow is not only a signal but a reminder of connection. In their tiny lanterns, we see reflections of our own place in the web of life, brief, fragile, dependent on countless others, yet luminous all the same. And as they live their brief lives, they remind us of something profound. Light has always been a language of survival. The firefly is not alone in its lantern-bearing. Though it is the most familiar to us, closest to our doorsteps and meadows, the world is threaded with other lights, strange, beautiful, sometimes haunting. Wherever darkness deepens, life has found ways to meet it with radiance. To follow the firefly's glow is to join a larger chorus, a global family of bioluminescent beings. Beneath the ocean's surface, where sunlight cannot reach, light blooms from living bodies. In the deep sea, where pressure crushes and water is black as ink, countless creatures shimmer in ways that seem almost dreamlike. Tiny plankton release sparks when disturbed, turning waves into rolling constellations. Fish drift with lures dangling before their mouths, glowing orbs designed to deceive. Whole colonies of jellyfish pulse with otherworldly hues, their bodies like liquid lanterns carried by the current. The anglerfish is one of the most haunting examples. In the crushing depths, a small light dangles from a fleshy stalk above its head, swaying gently in the dark. To smaller fish, it seems like a beacon, a sign of food in the endless night. They swim closer, drawn by hope. But as they near, the light reveals its secret. It is bait, part of the predator itself. With a sudden snap, the anglerfish swallows its prey, the light vanishing back into stillness. Just as the femme fatale fireflies use their mimicry on land, the anglerfish uses its lantern in the sea, deception written in glow. Not all deep-sea lights are traps. Some are shields, a way of hiding rather than hunting. Certain fish produce light on their undersides that perfectly matches the faint glimmer of the water above. Seen from below, they vanish, their glow erasing their silhouette in a technique known as counter-illumination. Here, light is not for luring or loving. It is for disappearing, for survival in the endless void. Yet the sea is not the only place where light blooms. On damp forest floors, fungi sometimes glow, their gills emitting a faint green that seems almost supernatural. In ancient times, travelers walking through dense woodlands told stories of fairy fire and ghost fungus, strange glows that shimmered on logs and stumps. Today we know that this luminescence may help attract insects, who carry spores far and wide, spreading the fungi's lineage. Even in decay, light has purpose, turning death into renewal. Closer to fireflies themselves are the glowworms. Despite the name, Glowworms are not worms at all but larvae of certain beetles and flies. In caves, especially in New Zealand, they hang from ceilings by silk threads, each thread dotted with glowing droplets. In the darkness, the cave transforms into a starry sky inverted, lights hanging above instead of beyond. For insects drawn to the glow, these droplets are deadly. They stick and ensnare, providing the glowworm with its meal. Like the firefly's deceptive signals, glowworms use beauty as a snare, their constellations hiding hunger within radiance. There are also the dinoflagellates, microscopic organisms adrift in the sea. When stirred by waves, paddles, or even swimming bodies, they release a sudden spark of blue light. To swim at night in waters filled with them is to feel as though one is moving through liquid stars, every gesture igniting a constellation. These lights, too, have reason. They may startle predators or even attract larger hunters to scare them away. What feels like pure magic is, once again, survival disguised as wonder. Across land and sea, light has emerged in forms as varied as the creatures themselves. It is not a single invention but one that has risen again and again, shaped by evolution's endless creativity. The firefly's chemistry is different from the jellyfish's, which is different again from the funguses, yet all lead to the same outcome: light spilling into darkness. Poets often speak of stars as eternal, unreachable, far above us. Yet the truth is that stars exist here too, on Earth, in forests, in oceans, in fields. Each glowing creature is a reminder that the cosmos is not only above but around and within. When we sit among fireflies or drift through glowing waves, we are, in a sense, stargazing at ground level. And still, the firefly feels closest to us. Its lanterns flicker in the same summer air we breathe. We can catch them in our hands, see their glow without diving into oceans or wandering forests at night. They are our summer constellations, hovering near enough to touch, stars brought down to earth. Yet even as we cherish them, their glow is fading. Where once fields shimmered with hundreds of tiny lanterns, now some stand dark, silent, empty. Artificial light drowns their signals. Pesticides poison their homes. Habitats shrink beneath human hands. The firefly, though part of a vast lineage of glowing creatures, faces a future that dims. Yet fireflies are our closest lanterns, our summer stars. But their glow is fading. Summer nights were once stitched with thousands of tiny sparks, fields alive with fireflies rising and falling in rhythm, a soft chorus of living lanterns. But in recent years, these lights have begun to fade. Walk through a meadow in early summer and the silence is heavier than it used to be. Where once the air shimmered, now only occasional sparks punctuate the darkness. The glow is thinning, and with it, the memory of countless nights spent watching their magic. The reasons are many, woven into the complex tapestry of human impact. Habitat loss is one of the clearest. Fireflies thrive in wetlands, forest edges, and damp meadows, spaces rich with moisture and life. Drain a marsh, pave over a field, or cut down the trees along a stream, and the fireflies lose their home. Without the soft undergrowth, the waterlogged soil, and the hidden nooks of vegetation, their eggs cannot hatch, their larvae cannot hunt, their adults cannot rest. A once glowing landscape can fall into darkness almost overnight. Chemical pollutants worsen the problem. Pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers saturate the soil where larvae grow. A single chemical spray can drift across a meadow, poisoning young fireflies before their lanterns ever shine. Even small amounts of pollution interfere with the biochemistry of their glow, the luciferin and luciferase unable to function as efficiently, making their flashes dimmer, fainter, less frequent. The dance of light we once took for granted is under siege by invisible forces. Artificial light is another silent thief. Street lamps, porch lights, neon signs, all cast a steady glow that drowns the fireflies' flickers. Their patterns of courtship become harder to see, confusing mates and leaving signals unanswered. The precise rhythm of their communication falters in the glare of human brightness. Even when they fly, the stars of their language are drowned in a haze of human illumination. The firefly's lantern is delicate. Our light can overwhelm it, not through malice but through neglect. Climate change adds yet another layer of uncertainty. Rising temperatures, unpredictable rains, and shifts in seasonal cycles all affect the timing of firefly emergence. A species that once rose to mate at dusk may now find the conditions misaligned with its life cycle. The subtle dance between chemistry, rhythm, and environment is disrupted. When the world moves too fast, even these small creatures struggle to keep up. And yet, even as the threats grow, there is hope. Where wetlands are preserved, where artificial lights are dimmed, fireflies continue to shimmer. In pockets of undisturbed habitat, entire fields still pulse in synchrony, a reminder of what once was and what might still be saved. Conservationists encourage the protection of dark spaces, the planting of native vegetation, the careful avoidance of chemicals. Each small effort allows the glow to survive another summer. To watch the fading of fireflies is to confront impermanence. They are brief by nature. The adult stage of most species lasts only a few weeks, but now human actions hasten their decline, making impermanence feel sharper. Where once whole fields flickered with light, there may soon be silence. And silence, when it comes too early, carries weight heavier than the gentle darkness of a summer night. Yet this fading also carries a lesson. Fireflies remind us that beauty is fragile, that the rhythms of nature are delicate, and that every small action can ripple outward. A single porch light left on too long, a single wetland drained, a single jar of glowing insects taken from the meadow, all accumulate. And yet, by turning off lights, planting native flowers, and leaving fields undisturbed, we can give the glow a chance to continue. There is poetry in this struggle. The firefly's light has always been ephemeral, a spark brief enough to be cherished, delicate enough to demand attention. In witnessing their decline, we learn to honor each moment, to slow down, to watch the small wonders of the night before they vanish. Their fading is a meditation on presence, reminding us that light, like life, cannot be taken for granted. Perhaps that is why their glow resonates so deeply with us. It is not only the biology of luciferin or the rhythm of flashing wings, but the fragile persistence of beauty against forces larger than itself. Each firefly that survives, each pulse that reaches a receptive mate, is a victory. And even if the numbers dwindle, the memory of their light continues to flicker in our minds, in poetry, in photographs, in the heartbeats of summer nights. And so, as we watch them, we must also act. To preserve darkness, to protect habitats, to slow the encroachment of light and chemicals, is to honor the firefly's quiet, radiant language. In doing so, we ensure that the glow continues, that the stories of love, deception, survival, and joy persist. The firefly's light is not just chemistry or evolution. It is a reminder that wonder itself must be protected. And so, fireflies are not only a wonder of science, but a reminder to protect wonder itself. Fireflies have always been companions to human imagination, their tiny lanterns flickering not only in meadows but in stories, memories, and art. Across generations, people have paused in quiet evenings to watch them rise and fall, a living constellation unfolding just above the grass. In these fleeting sparks, humans find more than chemistry or evolution. They find a reflection of their own wonder. For children, fireflies are often the first introduction to the magic of nature. The thrill of chasing a tiny glow with outstretched hands, of capturing one in a jar only to release it again, becomes a memory that lingers for life. Summer nights, once filled with laughter and the soft hum of insects, are punctuated by those brief pulses of light, teaching young minds that even the smallest creatures can illuminate the dark. Each flicker is a lesson in patience, in observation, in gentle awe. Fireflies also enter culture as symbols. In Japan, they are celebrated in poetry, particularly in haiku, where a single glowing insect can evoke the entire essence of fleeting summer evenings. In Native American stories, fireflies are spirits of guidance or playful tricksters, carrying wisdom and mischief through the night. In Western literature, their brief lights often signify longing, hope, or the ephemeral beauty of life itself. Across the globe, fireflies remind us that light, though temporary, can leave an impression far larger than its size. Cinema and art, too, have drawn inspiration from these tiny lanterns. In films, the flicker of fireflies can set a scene in quiet magic, marking moments of connection between characters, or the delicate passing of a summer night. Artists have captured their glow in paintings, illustrations, and photography, seeking to hold something that, by nature, is fleeting. Each representation is a tribute, a way to preserve their ephemeral brilliance in human memory. The science of fireflies also captures human fascination. Researchers study their flashes not only to understand mating patterns and chemical reactions, but also to explore wider applications. From medical research using luciferase as a marker, to engineering more efficient lights inspired by bioluminescence. In this, the firefly becomes both muse and teacher, showing that beauty and knowledge can rise together from the same spark. Watching fireflies also invites meditation. To sit in a darkened meadow and observe their rhythms is to slow down, to breathe, to become aware of subtle patterns. Their flashes are brief, measured, and precise, a natural pulse that contrasts with the hurried world of human schedules. There is comfort in this rhythm. One flash, a pause, another, then another. It mirrors the slow unfolding of life itself, encouraging presence, mindfulness, and appreciation of fleeting moments. The glow of fireflies also reminds us of impermanence. Their adult lives are brief, a few weeks at most, and yet within that short span, they complete cycles of love, survival, and communication. Humans resonate with this, recognizing in fireflies a mirror of their own fleeting time. The glow becomes a symbol. Beauty does not need to last forever to be meaningful. Each spark counts. Each moment matters. Each light touches those who pause to notice. There is also a gentle lesson in humility. Fireflies cannot survive without their habitats, without the quiet of undisturbed nights, without the balance of nature around them. In this, humans are called to stewardship, to protect wetlands, to reduce artificial light at night, to leave meadows undisturbed, is to allow the glow to continue. Watching fireflies is not merely entertainment. It is a quiet acknowledgement of our place in a larger web of life. Even in memory, fireflies hold power. Adults often recall childhood summers chasing lanterns, reliving nights filled with laughter and wonder. Poetry recalls the soft flicker across a field. Photographs preserve a moment, yet cannot capture the subtle rhythm, the warmth of the air, the sound of wings brushing grass. The magic is fleeting, yet it persists in memory, echoing across decades. Humans, too, are brief sparks in time, yet we share the firefly's ability to leave light behind. Perhaps that is why they feel so special. In their small, radiant bodies, humans see the vastness of life, its chemistry, its evolution, its beauty, its fragility. They remind us that wonder is fleeting, that attention is precious, and that sometimes the most magic is revealed when we slow down, sit quietly, and simply watch. To witness fireflies is to witness life itself in miniature. Delicate, radiant, ephemeral, and profoundly interconnected. As the night deepens, we return to the meadow where we began, sitting among the glowing stars of grass, feeling both awe and a quiet responsibility. The firefly's light is a gift, one that asks us to pay attention, to care, to remember. In their brief flashes, we find stories of love, survival, culture, and wonder, threads woven into the fabric of human experience. As the night deepens, the meadow becomes a universe of tiny stars. Fireflies hover like living constellations, their brief pulses illuminating the grass and air around us. In their glow, we witness the intersection of chemistry, evolution, ecology, and human wonder. Each flash is more than a light. It is a story, a spark that has traveled through millions of years to reach this moment, for this meadow, for us. Fireflies are brief by design. Most adults live only a few weeks, yet in that time they perform a symphony of life. They dance, they warn, they court, they survive. Their glow is both ephemeral and persistent, a paradox that mirrors the fleeting nature of our own experiences. In that glow, we see impermanence made radiant, the temporary elevated to significance. Each flicker is a reminder that even short-lived moments can leave lasting impressions. The lanterns carry echoes of their entire lives. The larvae, glowing underground to warn predators, the adults flashing signals to attract mates, the deceptive patterns of some species. All are part of a continuum, a chain of light connecting generations. Their biochemistry, their evolutionary history, their ecological role, and our own memories intersect in these glowing moments. In this, fireflies are teachers, showing that light can be more than illumination, it can be connection. In observing them, we recognize patterns that resonate beyond the meadow. The firefly's life mirrors broader truths about nature. Survival often requires risk, beauty often masks strategy, and communication can be subtle yet profound. Their lights speak without sound, weaving a language of pulses that conveys danger, desire, and delight. In these tiny lanterns, the world becomes intimate, vast, and poetic all at once. Humans have long been captivated by these lanterns. We see ourselves reflected in their glow, fleeting sparks navigating a vast and complex world, striving to connect, to survive, to leave traces of our existence. Fireflies remind us that even brief acts, whether of love, courage, creativity, or kindness, can shine beyond the immediate moment, carrying meaning far beyond their own lifespan. Their glow also teaches patience. To watch fireflies is to slow time, to notice rhythms too delicate for hurried observation. The pauses between flashes, the subtle differences in intensity, the quiet choreography of wings and light, these details require stillness, attention, and care. In their gentle pulses, we find a meditation, a lesson in being present, a reminder that the world often communicates in silence. And yet, as beautiful as their lanterns are, they are also fragile. Habitat loss, artificial light, pollution, and climate change threaten the very existence of these glowing creatures. Their fading is not only a loss for the meadow but a reminder of our responsibility to protect the environments that nurture all life. Preserving darkness, safeguarding wetlands, and reducing chemical impacts are acts that allow the firefly's story and light to continue. In this, their survival becomes intertwined with ours, a delicate partnership illuminated by flickers of gold. The eternal quality of fireflies lies not in their lifespan but in the continuity of their glow across generations. Each adult passes on the potential for new lanterns, ensuring that the pulse of light continues in meadows yet to be discovered. Even when individual sparks fade, the species' story persists, like a constellation reappearing season after season. In this way, fireflies embody a quiet immortality, their light fleeting in the moment but eternal in lineage. Perhaps, too, we carry our own lanterns. Like fireflies, we shine briefly, each of us a small, luminous presence in a vast world. Our actions, our words, our kindnesses, our creativity. These are sparks that ripple outward, touching lives beyond our immediate vision. Fireflies remind us that even the briefest light has power, that impermanence can be beautiful, and that each moment of wonder contributes to a larger, interconnected tapestry. As you sit among these imagined or real lanterns, let yourself feel both awe and peace. The firefly's glow is more than a biological marvel. It is a meditation on life itself, a quiet hymn to the beauty, fragility, and persistence of existence. In their brief radiance, we find lessons on survival, connection, and the meaning of light in darkness. Perhaps we, too, are fireflies, brief sparks glowing in the dark, each carrying light to be shared. Every thought, every smile, every gesture of care is a pulse, joining the larger rhythm of life. And just as fireflies rise from soil, emerge from darkness, and communicate through flickers of radiance, we too can shine, even briefly, in ways that leave an imprint on the world around us. The meadow, the night, the stars above, and the glowing creatures among the grass are all intertwined. Fireflies show us that light, however small or fleeting, matters. That wonder, once sparked, can travel, endure, and illuminate. Their lanterns are eternal not because they last forever, but because they persist in memory, in culture, and in the quiet hearts of those who pause to notice them. As our journey through the world of fireflies comes to a close, take a deep breath and let the night settle around you. We have wandered from meadows alive with flickering lanterns to the hidden chemistry inside tiny bodies, from the ancient rhythms of evolution to the quiet strategies of love and survival. We have witnessed their glow, their deception, their role in the ecosystem, and their connection to humans across time and culture. Each chapter has revealed a layer of wonder, a pulse of life stitched into the darkness. Fireflies remind us that the world is full of subtle magic. Their light is not merely aesthetic. It is a language, a signal, a story written in biochemistry, honed by evolution, and communicated through delicate rhythms of pulse and pause. Each flicker is part of a dialogue with the world, with predators and prey, with potential mates, with the environment, and with us as observers. Their glow is at once personal and universal, a reminder that even the smallest spark carries meaning. And yet, their light is fragile. As humans, we are both witnesses and guardians. Habitat loss, artificial lights, chemical pollution, and climate shifts threaten these tiny lanterns of summer. Where once meadows blazed with hundreds of fireflies, now silence can fall. But hope persists in the actions we take. Preserving wetlands, reducing nighttime illumination, avoiding harmful chemicals, and creating spaces where fireflies can continue their quiet conversations with the night. By protecting them, we protect not only their beauty but the ecosystems they sustain, the lessons they teach, and the wonder they inspire. Perhaps most profoundly, fireflies remind us to slow down. Their rhythm encourages us to pause, to notice, to breathe. Watching a firefly is a meditation, a moment to observe, to feel, to reflect on the interconnectedness of life. In these small, luminous moments, we are invited to witness impermanence and beauty simultaneously, to recognize that fleeting experiences can leave lasting impressions. Their glow mirrors the transient nature of our own lives, showing us that even brief sparks matter deeply. So when you see a firefly, remember that it is not only a beetle, but a miracle, a tiny lantern carrying chemistry, evolution, ecology, and wonder in its pulse. Each flash is a thread that connects the soil beneath our feet, the air above our heads, and the vast tapestry of life in between. The next time a firefly rises before you, take a quiet moment to watch, to breathe, to honor its journey. Let its light remind you of connection, of resilience, and of the beauty that persists even in darkness. If this story has gently lit your night, please like this video, subscribe to The Thoughtful Night, and let me know in the comments where you are listening from. Together, our lights weave across the globe, like a constellation of fireflies, each one small yet luminous, each one part of a greater whole. Your presence, your curiosity, and your care help keep wonder alive. Now, as you close your eyes, imagine the meadow one last time. Tiny lanterns drift among the grass, rising and falling in rhythm, whispering stories of survival, love, and light. Carry that glow into your dreams. Let it linger in your mind and your heart, a gentle spark reminding you that even in darkness, light can be found, shared, and cherished. Sleep softly, under the quiet canopy of stars and the delicate pulses of fireflies. Tonight, their glow is yours to carry.